To gratitude, growth, and great coffee, it's a Thanksgiving with your retirement coach. All right, grab your favorite mug. It's time for coffee with your retirement coach. Welcome back to Coffee with your retirement coach. I'm going to let you know right now, I'm not moved by ham or turkey, but I will do some sketchy things for deviled eggs.
Oh, you're that guy.
I want you to know, I hate deviled eggs.
I know. That's why I get to go in and take a double portion when we do our office things, and I love it. Unless it's sweet relish. Now, it's got to be the dill relish deviled eggs, but if it's homemade and not store-bought and they use the dill relish, all day long.
Dude, I am a sucker for smoked turkey. By far, number one. I love throwing it on the big green egg, and it takes forever to monitor and make sure everything's right.
Right.
But the end result's worth it every time.
Well, and you have fantastic instruments. You are a carving professional. You've got, what are those, Gibraltar blades? What are those?
You know how other grandparents get pictures of their grandchildren doing stuff?
Yeah.
I get pictures of grilled meat.
Yeah. It's the green egg and a big grin.
Like, got the meat cut, showing it off.
Well,
like
and I'm
Vanna
going to pick
White.
up myself. What was it? Last Thanksgiving, we were doing our office Thanksgiving, and I brought a honey-baked ham. I was so excited. Got a new knife, and I do have an issue with too many knives, but I got this new knife. I'm ready to slice it up, only to realize it was pre-sliced.
It was spiral cut.
It was spiral cut.
Well, if you can't tell, we get excited about the holidays here at Coffee with Your Retirement Coach, and it is one of those things we have recognized. We have a great audience. We really enjoy. We pick on each other. Every day in the office is not a holiday, but we really do. We've got a great team here in the studio, over at the firm, and great clients, great audience. We've already mentioned that, and it's hard not to have an attitude of gratitude in this season, and we just want to kind of hit on that today. We want to thank our audience for staying coachable this year, and we want to just kind of take a moment to be mindful and reflect.
Well, I like how you started this episode, Aaron, because really having a mindset of thankfulness and gratitude is so important. Yeah, but it's not always easy.
No,
because the holidays for a lot of people. It can be challenging and it can be difficult. And I just want our audience to know, like, that's not lost on us.
Yeah.
We know that is, something that is real life. Many people are dealing with it. And if that's you out there, take heart. Yeah. There are people around you. You might not even see them, but they care about you. You matter. You absolutely matter. And I hope that you feel encouraged. I hope somebody says a kind word to you. I hope that you receive a positive message, because sometimes that's all it takes is that one encouraging thing. But, Randy, like, as bogged down as we can sometimes get, like, I know personally, if I'm not hitting goals and I'm like striving, I'm trying to go forward, I feel discouraged. I feel upset, and maybe it's like I'm not in a great spot with my spouse, or maybe it's a friendship that I'm not in a great spot, or whatever it
maybe
is. Probably.
There we go.
But
that's a whole nother episode.
But what I love is that you've been coached and trained, and you've led our office through this. You've led individuals through this. You've led business owners through this. And this exercise could be an absolute game changer for people. Could you elaborate and maybe talk about the positive focus?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's appropriate to preface it with something else that I've learned about human nature, and especially, a lot of our clients are successful people, successful parents, business owners, employees, savers, investors, whatever it might be. When you're successful, a lot of times you do set goals, or goals are set for you. And in life, when you have these objectives and these goals you're going after, what will happen a lot of times is you're the kind of person that takes on more and more tasks. So, you're making your way up the mountain of things to do and people to please and all this kind of stuff. And as you're doing that, more things are being added. And what can happen is some of the most successful people with the most amazing achievements are actually miserable. They're actually very unhappy. So they've got all the money in the world that they can imagine. Maybe they've got, the celebrity spouse they've got the car they want, they've got the home they want, and they're absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
Because what happens in life is that when we're achieving things and we're accomplishing things, we could forget how much we've done. Whether that's a health battle that we've won, and we have many friends and family dealing with health issues, and in our office, we talk about it, we pray about it. We realize that not everybody is in the same season of life and in the same season in their life.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we do as a firm and that we've taught a lot of people to do, borrowing from Dan Sullivan, one of the coaches I worked with years ago, is this idea of positive focus. And if you're feeling blue, if you're feeling defeated, if you're really having trouble getting involved in the holiday spirit, the spirit of Thanksgiving, one thing I would encourage you to do is a little exercise. And I'd like you to list 5 to 10 things that you've accomplished this year or this month or this week, depending on who you are. Like, what are some of the things that have been accomplished that you've done, some wins that you've had, some things that you notice that you've done? Aaron, do you have an accomplishment that you could share with us?
Not to put you on the spot or anything, Aaron.
I know that you've had some wins in your life because you come into the office and you talk about your boys and their achievements all the time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that feels better to a dad than watching his sons have success.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. It's tough sometimes being a dad, raising teenage boys in this moment and in this environment. Both my boys are on the swim team. That's something they've got in common. And last week, Friday night, they're at each other's throats. They're arguing over who knows what. And, you did this and that was mine and you ate it, whatever. And then we were driving up to Dalton for the swim meet. So we're in the car for an hour and 25 minutes and they start locking in and they're focused. And the conversation was as teammates. But I watched them on the deck and in the pool, and they're dapping each other up after their swims and their races, their heats. And I'm watching them, and there's that teammate mentality, but then they've also got one step further where they're looking out for each other because they're brothers. And Randy, I feel like some big dad wins in that this year because there's times where I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I doing? Are we paying the bills? Are we having good family time? Am I instilling in these guys how to become the kind of chivalrous, integrous Southern men that we're trying to raise them to be? And so, I think that's
it's great. So what I'm saying is sometimes when I asked you that question, you had no idea I was going to ask you that question. I caught you off guard, and then I kind of threw you, a bone.
Thank you.
So one of the things that sometimes you need to do in doing this exercise, Nick, is you need somebody to prime the pump.
Yeah.
And so what I look at are some of the things that have occurred, and they could be a health win. They could be a win for somebody else, because when you love somebody and they have a win, you have a win because it's important to you. So making a list of some of the things that you've accomplished, maybe you've been meaning to walk and you started walking, maybe, you were involved in an organization and the organization had a win. So these achievements, anything that you do, you cleaned up the closet that you've been going on, man, you got 4 more rooms to do, but you did this one thing. So what happens in your brain when you have an attitude of gratitude, when you count your wins, and the Bible talks about counting your blessings. I'm no theologian, but I believe in the ancient scriptures are lessons, like the most valuable lessons that we can have. But having those wins, being thankful in all things, literally taking that, not corny, but looking at it. There's something that happens to us. And when we do this in the office and all of a sudden people around the table start talking about the wins that's going on in their personal life, or their business life, their career, whatever it might be, the whole atmosphere of the room changes. And people go from being down and beaten up to realizing that they're both goal setters and goal hitters. And that just changes things. So what happens is that allows you to see other things, other wins in your life. And people will have the hardest time putting the first one down or the second one down. And then the next thing you know, they're writing 5 or 6 down. Can I just tell the rest of the exercise? Do it really quickly. So the second part of that exercise, you kind of think about doing this in a column. I did this, I did that. I cleaned up the room. I started walking. I wasn't walking. I gave up sugar. I helped so-and-so, whatever it might be, whatever your wins would be. Then what I want you to put down right next to that in a column right beside it is why that's important. So Aaron, what was important about that experience that you had with your boys?
I want to know that they're going to be successful. I want to know that it's going to translate, and one day they're going to get out of my house, and it'll be visits. and I want to see those things in them. And I saw good, family values. I saw working as a teammate, and I was like, oh, they're going to go out when I'm not around, because I was up in the stands. So for me, why it was important is I'm seeing them become the men I had hoped and prayed they would be.
That's awesome. And so the next column, if you're literally doing this exercise, and I encourage you to do this, I do it quite frequently. When I get in a place where I realize I'm in this gap, and a gap, the expression I use for the gap is it's that distance between where you are and where you want to be. Mm-hmm. And this is, again, strictly coming from the strategic
or in this season of Thanksgiving, Randy, I would even say it's where you are for where you'd hoped you could be.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are so desperate, like they just hope they could get there.
Yeah. And I'm going to give one final thing, if you'll remind me at the end, that I think is a catalyst for change in that part. And again, I don't want this to be all, ooey gooey and all that stuff. It just works. I've done it. I've done it with other people. I've done it with business owners. I've done it with clients making the progression from one career to another or retiring. So the next column, if you were to do this and really following the exercise, so you've got the achievement, why it's important, and then what's next?
Yeah.
What's further progress? So the third column would be further progress in that area. So what would further progress be for the boys?
Just continuing in that vein, but seeing more opportunities to see them operate in independence, without being poked or prodded by me, but being self-sufficient, and all those things continue to be authentic, and them seeking out ways to, is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's good. And if it was something that you were doing rather than watching somebody else do, the fourth column would be next specific action. Literally putting something on the calendar. Calendar is a great way to take action. Make an appointment with yourself. Make an appointment about that thing that you want to do or achieve. There's a great book. I think it was Sharon Archer wrote the book, The Happiness Advantage.
Yeah.
I remember you and I were at a conference one time and we heard him speak. It was just an amazing. I just encourage you to take a look at that book. But so I mentioned that maybe I would give you something else that you could add to that. I think one of the things that people become miserable and don't enjoy the holidays as much is because they can focus on all of the things that aren't working right for them. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I have found that if I do it gives me great joy, and I think it will give you joy, and that's helping other people. And I don't mean that in any kind of pious way. It's greedy. Makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So if I can help an organization, if I can do somebody, and sometimes it's so simple. Sometimes I will absolutely just text somebody that I'm thinking about them.
Yeah.
That I care about them.
Yeah.
And ask how they're doing. And what's amazing is when they get that response, how that makes them feel.
Yeah.
And because I know how that can make somebody feel, that makes me feel good.
It's contagious.
It is.
Yeah.
I got to tell you a quick story. I've got a client I've worked with for years. He's an octogenarian, right? He comes in and it's terrible. Lumbering in, he's a big guy. And he's got his knuckle in his back. He's in horrible, horrible back pain. And he's telling me, he said, surgery's next week, so I'm looking forward to feeling better. This has been pretty terrible, pretty bad. And his daughter's joined him for the appointment. She goes, well, Dad, the bottle shop owner has been pretty excited about it. And he got this like really mischievous grin. And I'm like, oh, and I'm thinking, is he going to buy a lot of alcohol to deal with the pain? And she Dad, tell the story. So remember, he comes in and he's working that knot in his back, and that was exactly what happened when he went into the store. And when he comes in, he's grimacing with pain, but then he looks up and he tries to muster up the best smile he could. And the two men at the counter ran off and out the back of the store. And the shop owner greeted him and was like, Bob, get in here. Thank you so much. And he's like, for what? Scaring off the robbers. He's like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you came in here dirty, hairy smile with that grin, and they were afraid of you, and they took off because they thought you were going to shoot him.
He thought he was pulling a gun.
I don't have a piece. It's back pain. And let me tell you something. It was so neat that he's the accidental hero. The store owner is loving him and knows him and appreciates him, and the way his daughter is looking at him, it's this cool moment. Yeah. And it wasn't even intentional. But then I think he also loved the fact that his daughter was probably like, hey, Dad, tell about that. That's a great story, and it's a funny story. And that kind of gratitude, that feeling that can be shared, it's okay for you to enjoy it. If everyone around you is enjoying it, what's the harm?
Well, and here's where I might leave our audience today. Life could be going really great for you.
Yeah.
You could have a lot of blessings in your life. Like my 3 teenage daughters are thriving. My wife and I were healthy. We are doing well. Okay. But that's not the case with all the families around us.
Yeah.
And there are some people I know in need right now.
Yeah.
And I think remembering and maybe you need a calendar reminder. Maybe you need to write it down.
Yeah.
For me personally, I write things down like on sticky notes to remind myself. But speaking a kind word to someone in this season, it might make all the difference. And you have no idea. Dropping off, a soup or a pot pie to somebody just out of the blue.
Yeah.
Or just you see somebody walking down the street and just greeting them with the kindness of a smile.
Yeah.
These sound like little trivial things, but I'm telling you, it matters. And you're going to bless yourself because you are blessing somebody else. So in this season of gratitude and Thanksgiving, continue to be the blessing that I know you can be.
No, that's so good. Listen, we want to encourage you. Find your moment of gratitude. But if you find yourself in a season where you are in a place of excess or things are great, take that opportunity to share kind words, have human interactions, bless others out of your abundance. Take that time. If you'd like to share with us personal stories of triumph this year, we want you to email us at connect@yourretirementcoach. Leave a comment below. We want to find out what's going on with you and give you that opportunity to share and to have a moment to spotlight that area of your life that deserves that gratitude. We want to make a special thank you to everyone who has allowed us to come into your device, into your headphones, into your homes, and share wisdom. So many of you this year have implemented these ideas, these thoughts. You've met with wise counsel. You've gone and you've taken the next hard steps. You've done the homework, and we're thankful for you staying coachable. We hope that in this new season, you subscribe to the podcast, you listen to new episodes, and we can't wait for another year to roll by where we've got even more to brag about, to be excited about, and to share with others. Stay with us and stay coachable. Gratitude, growth, good coffee. All right.
Well, nobody can see the pumpkins where they're sitting if you look in this.
When he goes back to the full shot, you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Randy.
They look like butts.
So they don't look like butts. They look a little like butts. That was all you could come out with, compounding kindness? Like you came out strong and then just...
I know. Thanks, Aaron. Feeling pretty good. Feeling positive. Feeling great.
We hope you enjoyed today's show, but you may have questions for our coaches, and they can be emailed at connect@yourretirementcoach.com. If you know someone that needs to hear this episode, we encourage you to share it. As a reminder, the content of this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as advice. On behalf of our coaches, we want to thank you for listening and for being coachable.
Yeoman's Consulting Group, a registered investment advisor YouTube channel based in Marietta, Georgia. We strive to provide comprehensive wealth management services for every stage of the journey. This platform is solely for informational purposes and is not offering advisory services or sales of securities. Investing involves risk and possible loss of principal capital. Comments by viewers or recognitions are no guarantee of future investment outcomes and do not ensure that a viewer will experience a higher level of performance or results. Public comments posted on this site are not selected, amended, deleted, or sorted in any way. If applicable, certain editing of personal, identifiable information and misinformation may be deleted. The opinions expressed herein are as of the date of publication and are subject to revision due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass.